Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chimunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamachit. So very glad you joined us this evening for part 12 of our series, 12 Kalis of the Krama lineage. So this is the last of the forms of Kali that we're going to be discussing in this series. In a couple of weeks, we will be doing a final installment of this series. We'll be honoring all 12 and we'll be reciting the entire Krama Stotram. And that will be another outdoor fire puja. I'd like to start out with a couple of announcements. So next Friday, we'll be doing part 4 of our series, Cho Practice for the Modern West. Tuesday of next week, we'll be doing the final installment of our series on meditations of the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. It's going to feature the Hamsa meditation. Some of you may be familiar with that. That will be presented at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, and then at 7 o'clock, for anybody who's here in person, we'll be doing a Kriya Yoga satsang. Everyone's welcome to attend. That portion will not be broadcasted. So just to move on with a review of what we've covered, these last 11 installments going on to 12. 12 Kalis are honored in a 1,000-year-old hymn called the Krama Stotram. The hymn is attributed to the 11th century sage Abhinavagupta. It was part of the Krama lineage of non-dual Shaiva Tantra, also known as Kashmir Shaivism. And this is the lineage that first taught meditative techniques that involved raising energy, Kundalini energy up through the central channel, the Sushumna, piercing the chakras. And this is the basis of Kriya Yoga. So to recap a little bit more from our previous satsangs, the sage Abhinavagupta, who was of the Trika lineage, described 3 functions of divine consciousness: Icha Shakti, the power of will; Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge; and Kriya Shakti, the power of action. There's also a 4th function, the power of transcendence. And this function is personified by the goddess Kalasankarshini Kali. And so these 3 forms of the Divine Mother plus 1 are symbolized by the 3 points and staff of a Trishula or trident. So these 4 divine functions are then multiplied by the 3 phases of emission, creation, stasis or preservation, and reabsorption and destruction. 4 times 3 is 12, therefore 12 functions in number, and there's a form of Kali in the hymn representing each of these functions. So these 3 phases are also classified as the objective, the cognitive, and the subjective. So in our series thus far, we first honored Mahasristi Kali, who's associated with the creation of objects. The second, Rakta Kali, or the experience of objects with our 5 senses. This is related to preservation. The third, Siddhatanasya Kali, termination of the experience of objects. In other words, and this is associated with destruction. The fourth, Yamakali, personifies the power of transcendence, and this ended the first cycle of objectivity. Samhara Kali began the second phase, the cycle of cognition. Her position in this state is once again the creation, only now the objects form that are both different from the observer, and also they are the part of the observer themselves. This phase represents the beginning of the destruction of duality. The 6th Kali of the hymn, Ritu Kali, represents a state of preservation through the destruction of distractions. The 7th Kali of the Stotram, Rudra Kali, also known as Bhadra Kali, she is the destroyer of the doubts and suspicions that hold us back on our journey to both self-actualization and divine consciousness. The eighth Kali in our series, Marmatananda Kali. This form of Kali absorbs the energies of cognition, 12 forms of experiencing the world in number, unto herself. She's the transcendent force that ends the cycle of cognition. The ninth Kali of the Stotram begins the cycle of subjectivity. She is Paramarka Kali, who personifies that state in which the limited ego, which holds the 12 organs of cognition, is dissolved. The 10th Kali of the Krama Stotram is Kala Anala Rudra Kali, also known as Kaligna Rudra Kali, within whom the dualistic perception of I versus that thinking is dissolved with the 12 sense organs, but the function of time still exists. So the 11th, who we honored a couple of weeks ago, Mahakali Kali, this was the form of the Divine Mother who digests time along with the totality of the universe. She's the complete absorption of everything. And so the 12th and final Kali of the Stotram is, here's another long name, Maha-Bhairava-Ghora-Chanda Kali. And in her, the force of supreme consciousness responsible for manifesting the subjective, the objective, and cognitive worlds are held in a state of oneness, a state of pure wholeness. She's really the sum total of the previous 11 forms of the Divine Mother. Her name means Kali, the great fierce one, whose actions are terrifying. And I'd like to use the more expanded definition of terrifying, which is awe-inspiring. So as I said before, she's the culmination of the 12 Kalis who govern the actions of objectivity, cognition, and subjectivity. She's the Dark Mother from whom we return when our time has come. And that's true of Kali herself. She's the force that not just brings us into this world, but calls us home at the end. The name Kali itself can be translated to mean time and also darkness. And you can think of the vast and infinite darkness of space or the darkness of the soil from which things spring up from and into which things return. She resides within you, and likewise you reside in her. She is all that one sees, touches, tastes, smells, and hears. She is the world and the universe is one. She is pure oneness. Through her, everything is everything. She's therefore the embodiment to the state of consciousness known as Turiya, also known as the God state. Turiya is the state that's sometimes called wakeful sleep. It's the fourth state of consciousness. The three other states are normal waking consciousness, dreaming sleep, and dreamless sleep. Turiya is the state that transcends all of those. So this is the state which is the higher pure consciousness. It's the state of union, also referred to as conscious samadhi. Turiya is the goal of meditative techniques like Kriya Yoga and Yoga Nidra. So Jema. So to begin our puja, I invite you to find a nice, comfortable seated position, either seated on the ground like I am, maybe with a cushion under your hips. You could also be sitting in a straight back chair. You could even follow along with the meditational part of this puja, lying on your mat in Shavasana as well. Breathing deeply. Letting the in-breath bring in deeper and deeper states of relaxation. Willingness to experience, willingness to explore. With each out breath, breathe out all the tensions, breathe out all the distractions, the cares of yesterday and tomorrow, so that you may be focused on the present moment. Focusing on your heart center, I invite you to take a moment and silently connect with whichever form of the divine you feel closest to. All roads lead to the source. Feel that presence within. Visualize that presence. And I invite you at this time, as we've done before, to think about some small aspect of your life, or maybe you need guidance, or you're in need of healing. Or something that is just ready for resolution or transformation. Just think about that one aspect, because you'll be called to give this aspect as an offering at the end of our meditation. And also, I invite you to visualize what it would seem like, what it would be like if that issue came to a resolution, if that issue was healed, if you received that guidance that you need, or that balance that you need. So I invite you to bring the palms of your hands to your heart center. And we'll open our practice by chanting the 3 syllables, Aing, Reem, Clean. Inhale, Aing. Inhale, Reem. Inhale, clean. Inhale and And exhale and slowly open your eyes. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah. Jai Ganesha. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Kailase Patona Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Mahakali Ti Shamja Sampada Pada Kramodita Sada Satyakta Sadbhava Param Nanda Nandini. She is called the Great Annihilator, Mahakali, because she continuously perpetuates the state of existence in an endless succession, yet her true nature, which is beyond all categories of being and non-being, is the ecstatic delight of unmanageable bliss. Kali Mahakalam Amalasan Grantim Vandehi Achintyam Ananalabhyam. Praise be to Kali, who devours up the great cycles of time. She is inconceivable, indestructible, and unattainable. Jai Ma. So for our puja mantra, we're going to use the mantra Om Kali. 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 Om Kapuragoram Karanavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendra Haram Sada Santam Hridayararinde Vivam Bivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishwara Devi Chachara Charasya Om Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva. We honor Maha-Bhairava-Ghora-Chanda Kali. Krama Trayatva Stramarichi Chakra Sanchara Chaturya Turya Satyam Vande Maha-Bhairava-Ghora-Chanda Kalim Kalakasya Sanya Kantim. Highest salutations to Maha-Bhairava-Ghora-Chanda Kali, shining like the moon in the light of Kalakasya, the essence of time. She is the reality of the fourth state of consciousness, Turya, the goal of meditation, expert in spinning the wheel of the Supreme Sun, the rays of Prakasha, the manifestation of consciousness. To this Supreme Goddess, weaver of the threefold succession of creating, protecting, and destroying the entire universe, to you we give constant devotion. Jema. So we'll be continuing our fire offerings, the mantra Om Kali. 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 Om Kali, 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 Om Kali. I invite you now to close your eyes and breathe deeply. And let the power of the mantra guide your consciousness to where it needs to be at this moment. Rest in the state of awareness and honor whatever manifests from a safe and non-attached distance. Now, with your eyes closed, I invite you to take a deep and clearing breath and find that thing within yourself that you are ready to let go of so that it can be healed or transformed. And let whatever that is manifest now into your right hand and notice what form it takes shape. What symbol represents that issue? Now envision yourself walking up to a burning fire in a cremation ground. And you watch the fire and see a corpse which is slowly being consumed by the flames. And then imagine dropping this part of yourself into the fire, watching it be burned away as well, and let yourself be aware of any changes in physical sensation that you might notice, or any emotional feelings that may arise as your offering is being consumed and transformed by the fire. And now I invite you to slowly open your eyes, look at your screen, and gaze upon our fire here with a relaxed gaze. Continue to observe and honor what the fire invokes for you. And feel the transformed energies from your personal offering. Feel them return to you in the form of heat and light. And again, just let yourself be aware of and honor any changes you might notice on a physical and emotional level as you gaze upon our fire. So I invite you now to listen to the words of the sage Abhinavagupta. A bound soul who has any of these convictions, I am dense, I am inert matter, or I am completely bound by my karma, or I am impure, or I am the pawn of others, may seek to attain the steady conviction of the opposite of these views. If one succeeds in this, one immediately becomes the master, whose body is the whole universe, and whose soul is pure consciousness. In whatever manner such a conviction may be attained, a tantric yogi should cultivate it at all times. One should not allow one's perspective to become divorced from the real nature of things and thus be led into doubt by the mass of foolish teachings which exist in this world. Om Sava Mangala Mangalye Shiva Svada Sadike Saranye Trambake Devi Naryane Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sanavavatu Sanabunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvidyavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Madevi. Jai Mahakali. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Ma. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me this evening, and for those of you who may be watching this broadcast later. Thank you for joining me this evening. Gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice tonight. I invite you to carry it with you in the days to come. Have a wonderful evening. Blessings always. Jai Ma. Thank you.